Round of 32 of the 11th edition of the Australia Cup in its current format, at least. We are in Tasmania, the southernmost point of this great competition, which starts with over 700 clubs from around the country. Well, for the fourth time, South Hobart, the current league leaders in the Apple Isle, are in the round of 32 for the fourth time and taking on one of the great names in Australian football traditionally, South Melbourne Football Club, who have made the trip only just across Bass Strait. Their initial flight was cancelled this morning, so they've left it late, and I'm pleased to say Ange Postecoglou's former club that he took to back-to-back titles in the late 1990s in the old NSL have made it and are looking to go perhaps one better than they did last year when they made the semi-finals of this very competition before losing out to eventual winners, Macarthur FC. Well, South Hobart are an ambitious club on the rise in Tasmania, and they're looking for their first ever win on a chilly night, as you can see, in Glenorchy, in Hobart, Nipaluna, in the Palawa language of the indigenous Tasmanians. This isn't South Hobart's normal home ground. We are on an artificial surface, the home of the Glenorchy Knights and the home of Football Tasmania. And the home team, South Hobart, hoping this could be a little advantage for them. Max Clark is their coach, and he makes 3 changes from the side that preserved its unbeaten record this season in a 2-2 draw with Devonport City on the weekend. Former Brisbane Roar goalkeeper Nick O'Connell returns between the posts, while the in-form Alex Walter and Tobias Havanen come in for Eli Wright and Harry Oates, who drop to the bench. Captain and club top scorer Nick Morton, who has 19 goals in 21 appearances in all competitions this season. Well, he spent the 2015 campaign at Melbourne City in the under-23 NPL side before moving to South Melbourne. And for the former Oceania champion South Melbourne, Sinisar Kahadzic's revival of this side that actually went 12 matches without a win earlier this season. They are finding some form, and they're into the final of the Doherty Cup as well. Spanish goalkeeper Javi Lopez played his 100th NPL match on the weekend in a 2-0 win over his former side Altona Magic. He continues in goal. Captain, though, Marko Jankovic is missing. He was red carded just before the half hour on the weekend, so he's suspended. Lucas Inglese comes in at centre back. Max Mikola also comes in with Ren Nagamatsu cup-tied. Former Jets Andy Brennan is also in the South Melbourne side. He joined Hellas back in 2014 from South Hobart. There is the 30-year-old Max Clark, who took over from the legendary Ken Morton and dad of Captain Nick Morton. He's done a good job with a new-look squad, and as I mentioned, undefeated after 14 matches in the league. They won both the pre-season cup and the Laka Seljuk Cup as well. So they're enjoying a fantastic campaign. Brendan Copra is our referee for this evening's clash. There is Sinisar Kahadzic, who took over from the Argentine coach and outgoing coach Esteban Quintas, who had taken South Melbourne to 2 premierships in NPL Victoria, as well as the semi-finals of the Cup and last season's Doherty Cup as well. So South Melbourne, a former great of the Australian game, hoping to be great again. They will play in the championship later this year. South Hobart are hoping that they will be playing in the championship too. And this round of 32 clash is underway at the KGV Park. The home side, South Hobart, have swept all before them in Tasmania so far this season, but this is without a doubt Daniel McBreen, their biggest test of the season to date. A South Melbourne side who, despite their trials and tribulations in NPL Victoria this season, do remain one of the big guns in this competition.
Well, they definitely do, Robbie. They're starting to find a bit of form too in the last 8 matches in their league, South Melbourne. Just the one loss. And they have met one time before this, these two, 11 years ago in the NPL playoffs. It was a 1-0 win to South Melbourne on that occasion. It's a big long time between drinks for the revenge for South Hobart, and they'll be looking to get their first win at this stage as well. So plenty to play for tonight.
That's right. They have never made it past this stage of the competition, South Hobart. It was the Englishman, Jamie Reid, that got the only goal for South Melbourne back in 2014.
Nice overhead as well.
It was.
It was.
And Andy Brennan played that game. That's where he caught South Melbourne's eye, playing for South Hobart. Interestingly, Tyson Holmes and Lee Minopoulos also played that day for South Melbourne. They are assistant coaches to Sinisar Kahadzic this evening as well. They were under Esteban Quintas. Two kept on. The new coach, Sinisar Kahadzic, knows South Melbourne very well. That's a clever little touch from Kemp. He's one to look out for, and here's Morton, the other, to keep an eye on. And that shot rather belies his reputation and scoring form this season as well.
Well, he got that one wrong, didn't he? Looking to use the outside of the foot, just dragging the foot across the ball. Just dusting off the cobwebs early in the game. You can see the smile
as well. They scored 8 goals in 16 matches for South Melbourne back in 2015. His dad, Ken Morton, was is a synonymous name with football in Tasmania. The former Manchester United youth. There's a challenge in there, and it's the diminutive midfielder Charlie Leach, who went down in the box. He's been excellent in recent weeks with those runs from midfield.
Well, you could see there, as soon as the ball went out, South Melbourne players saying, come on, let's get up and press, let's lock them in, try and win this ball high. Plenty of players committed forward for the press.
We know that South Melbourne are a proud football club. The NSL titles, 4 of them. One of them coached by Ferenc Puskas. 2 of them coached by Ange Postecoglou.
Not bad names.
Ange Postecoglou was actually involved in all 4 of South Melbourne's NSL titles. But they have found it a little harder to come by in recent years. Their last NPL championship, not premiership, was back in 2016. There's that effort from their new signing, the Japanese midfielder Yuzo Iwakami, who's playing his 3rd consecutive match after joining the club just 3 weeks ago from Sperio Johuko. One of a number of mid-season signings, including Ren Nagamatsu and Braden Spink as well, who are absent cup-tied today. And a look at NPL Victoria standings. It's unusual to see South Melbourne so low. They went on that absolutely terrible run, but another club that's really struggling, Melbourne Knights, are rock bottom at the moment. Mark Viduka's former club, to name but one, and they look like they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they haven't been able to turn it around. South have, for them, luckily, down in the relegation zone early in the season, weren't they? As we said, there was 12 games without a win, 9 of them losses. And it looked really bleak. They've turned it around now. Doherty Cup final to play. Round of 32 here. And moving their way up the table with just the 1 defeat in 8 matches, as we said.
Yeah, it certainly didn't make for pretty reading, some of the statistics to come out of that 12-match winless run. Apart from the first match of that run, which was a 3-3 draw, after that, they scored 3 goals in their next 11 matches. 8 times failing to score. But they have managed to turn it around. And there is actually a pretty good feeling around the club at the moment. That's a good defensive header. You can hear the crowd. It will be a partisan crowd right behind their side. They had 2,500 at Bellerive Oval last time they made it this far. Oh, as that ball makes it a long way in. High boots, a swing and a miss from Inglese. The follow-up and appeals for a handball as well, a little half-hearted in the end from Mikola. Referee Brenton Copra taking a long look at that and deciding that everything was above board in there.
A couple of air swings in there, plenty of bodies around, isn't there?
A free kick in the end going against Patrick Ayoul both. South Sudanese striker. And I would say he's been amongst the goals this season, but just about everyone, apart from the back four, have been there. The top scorers in Tasmania. They've got the best defence in Tasmania as well. 56 goals in 14 league matches. Iwakami's ball is in, and a comfortable one for Nick O'Connell.
Well, we heard in the pre-match interviews South Hobart players relishing not being the favourites. Maybe a little bit more of a relaxed attitude coming into this game, that they're not maybe not expected to win, but they want to, obviously, but they can go in. They're expected to win every game when they play in their local league, which they pretty much do, to be fair to them as well.
There's only one side that's resisted so far this season, Devonport City. Back-to-back 2-all draws. And Launceston City also picked up a point. They're the only 3 games in which they haven't won in the league this season. Their first appearance in the round of 32, as we heard Zappers say in the pre-game show, was a penalty shootout loss to Tuggeranong United in 2014. In 2015 they lost in Sydney to Sydney United. Again, that was on penalties. A certain Alfred Hess was on the scoreboard in that match that finished 3-3. He's on the bench this evening at 36 years of age. And then their last appearance was in 2019. That was at Bellerive Oval in front of over 2,500 fans. That was a 3-0 loss to the Marconi Stallions.
So it's been a bit of time between drinks. Back on this national stage again. South, on the other hand, South Melbourne, that is, semi-finalists last year. For the second time, 2017, made the semi-finals as well, where they came up against Sydney FC. Last season was a 1-0 loss to the eventual winners of the competition, MacArthur.
2017, it was Sydney FC who won it as well. Beat Adelaide.
Yeah.
2-1 in the final. Morton looks for the ball back, doesn't get it. Bonada's touch wide. That's Jake Pope wearing the number 99 for South Melbourne. Arrived midway through last season. And he was on the score sheet against Altona, where they played with 10 for over an hour of that game. Bonada with the first, the number 24, who has 5 goals this season and is top scorer for South Melbourne. It tells you just how hard goals have been to come by for them.
Yeah.
Pope has 3. He also picked up a red card against the Melbourne Knights a few weeks ago. Jack Pope, you can hear the wind through the microphone effects. Now, the wind is something you have to get used to playing in Tasmania. Their match on the weekend against Devonport, case in point. The number 7, here he is contesting, or just over his head, Samuel Berezensky, scored from about 65, 70 metres out on the weekend. It looked like a fairly hopeful clearance forward from midway in his own half of the field, and it somehow travelled all the way to the penalty box, bounced up and over the goalkeeper and in.
Well, that was a half opportunity there for a break, wasn't it? Nicola almost nicking in front.
Good challenge from the captain. Jacob Lancaster. There's a flick on. Gorry got it up, back in perhaps from Inglese. Another sighting from the big central defender. There is the veteran Gorry, the number 3, the right back. Lancaster with O'Connell. Gorry. There are a couple of great stories. We know many of the MPL clubs have semi-professionals. The money can attract the best players at this level in the country to the MPL New South Wales, MPL Victoria. It's not necessarily the case in Tasmania. So a lot of these players with South Hobart, as it is the case for South Melbourne as well, do have other jobs. Jacob Lancaster, the big number 6 at the back, is actually studying medicine and should be a doctor in the next couple of months. Let's hope we only need his football skills this evening. Hail both. Nice ball. Inside for Kemp. One for both to chase, and that's a risky back pass, which probably goalkeeper Javi Lopez is happy went out for a corner and not towards him.
Well, it was a little bit scrappy, wasn't it? Pressure coming in from the striker, and just a lazy outside of the foot back pass, wasn't it? Didn't connect. Probably giving away a needless corner here that puts them under pressure.
Jack Painter Andrews, who's been an ever-present for South Melbourne this season, conceding the corner that Gorry will take. In it comes. Good ball back post as well. Kemp's header. Up and onto the crossbar.
Well, for a brief moment there, I thought Lopez had got a hand on that, but just sees it over the bar.
Javi Lopez, who played his youth football with Oviedo and Zaragoza in Spain. In 2019, he signed for Altona Magic. Spent a season there, a season at Bentley Greens before joining South Melbourne in 2021. Played his 100th MPL match on the weekend, kept a clean sheet as well with it. Morton with the follow-up ball. Only found Inglese. Now Gorry, he gives it straight back to Lampard. Inglese with Lampard again. Well, we have seen both sides try and put their foot on the ball. Both sides trying to play good football.
Both teams pressing high as well where possible.
There's Lancaster, he looks long. Good ball as well. Morton. Not afraid to try his luck. Still finding his range.
Well, he had that settler early. It was good hold-up play. It was a great ball forward, wasn't it? It was just laid off for him. Maybe saw Lopez just creeping off his line a little and thought, well, why not?
They'll both with the ball forward there. He got a hat-trick against Launceston United a couple of weeks ago. He's really forced his way into the side, ahead of the likes of Bradley Lakaseljak. That was a good touch. In midfield from Mikola to take him around that challenge. Lampard with Yuzo Iwakami. The early ball was looking for Noel Bonara, who actually scored a goal against the Western Sydney Wanderers for the Central Coast Mariners back in November 2020 in a pre-season game. Never ended up signing for the Mariners. Argentine-Australian. That's a good ball. Looking for Austin Yost. Andy Brennan, the former South Hobart man, getting a nice warm round of applause. The number 7 for South Melbourne. Played 5 matches for the Newcastle Jets. It was actually Nick Morton that was signed as his replacement at South Melbourne when Andy Brennan headed up to the Jets in 2015. Gorry was looking to play it early, didn't connect. Here's Lampard. He was shown the corridor, but it was closed down quickly by Alex Walter. Morton, Kemp over the top towards Berezanski. Painter Andrews, how about that touch from Kemp? Now Ayul both. He looks up, one for Morton to chase. Inglese almost got himself in a muddle. Morton has it. Needs support though. It's a little while in coming, the red shirts. Berezanski does that well. Lancaster with Gorry now. Kemp wants it again. Kobe Kemp, the number 8, who's considered one of the key players in the middle of the park for this South Hobart side. Gorry's header is a good one. Walter.
It was just a little wide, wasn't it? The run was going inside, he just played it wide. It took the ball away from the run. It would have been a dangerous position. Both teams, as we approach 20 minutes, just feeling each other out at the moment, aren't they? Neither really able to expose the defence of the opposition yet.
South Melbourne just causing a little bit of danger from those 2 set pieces that they were able to deliver the ball into the penalty box. Otherwise, this one being played out in midfield. Defence is on top at the moment. One for Leach to chase. Lancaster gets there first. There's a foul on Ayul both. Athletic number 16, who's a good foil to now, at 29 years of age, the experienced Nick Morton.
He's just a youngster, Robbie.
Everything's relative, Macca, for you and I. There are lots of youngsters out there still. There's Morton's cross to the back post.
Well, it just hasn't worked in that final third, has it? He's got himself into a couple of good positions. That final pass, delivery, or strike. Seems to be finding his feet in the match.
Nick Morton's dad, Ken Morton, who played for one of your old clubs, Mackie, York City, after coming through the ranks at Manchester United. Never played for the Red Devils, but coached South Hobart from 2008 until this season, when Max Clark took over. Max Clark, who was a MPL under-21 coach at Melbourne City and Western United before accepting the job at South Melbourne. Well, Nick's dad is all football, but mum is too. She's one of the game's leading administrators in Tasmania and is co-president, Vicky Morton of South Hobart. So it is very much a family affair.
One in, all in.
And they have just placed another proposal to be one of the foundation clubs for the championship as well, which was handed in on Monday. As that ball, the cutback from Painter Andrews, couldn't find a way through, and that's a good ball. The break is on here, both. Good piece of keeping from Javi Lopez.
Looks like it's an offside. South Melbourne coming back from an offside position, but that was a dangerous moment there for South Melbourne. Wonderful ball. Lopez saw the danger and came out to sweep. Exactly what you want from your goalkeeper when there's a high line. Step up. When you're organising, you've got to be aware of anything that can come through to catch you out. Played it to perfection there.
Great touch from Gorry. He's managed to keep it in play in front of the referee's assistant, Thomas Mace, on this near side, but it's... Well, you can hear what the home fans and the South Hobart players thought of it.
He's been in the thick of the action, Gorry, hasn't he? Down this right-hand side. Just there, and I think I'd probably agree with the South Hobart faithful there. I thought it was a corner.
Long ball towards Pope. Bonada looking to get it back to him. Clever little touch. Brennan down to the byline against his former club. He did well to get the cross in. The opportunity high and wide of the mark. We might take this opportunity to head down to the sidelines where Michael Zapponi is with us. How are you braving the cold in Tassie, Zappers?
G'day, Robbie. I was at the snow last week. It was warmer in Mount Buller than it is here in Glenorchy. But we're at the foot of Mount Wellington. That explains it, because just earlier this week it snowed up there and we're getting the wind coming through this stadium, and it does cut through you. As you can see, the ball is being held up in the air. It is a strong breeze, and the South Hobart side is doing well to stave off South Melbourne. South Melbourne started this game really strongly. You heard from the coach earlier in the pre-game, and he was saying that they really wanted to survive the first 20 minutes but put pressure on South Melbourne. They haven't been able to do that. South have started this game really well. Huge support here for the home side. Around 2,000 people here behind the South Hobart goal. They're making plenty of noise. They've got their trumpets, they've got their vuvuzelas. It's a great atmosphere and a great night for Tasmanian football.
Fantastic, Zappers. It sounds bracing. We can just hear that little tremor in your voice, which is what the Cup is all about as well. We just saw Ale both almost trying to get the crowd on their feet then with another of those runs forward.
Well, we just talked about, well, Zappers just spoke about the breeze and the wind in the back of South Melbourne there. Just think about those runs from both in the second half, as that ball maybe can roll through if they South keep that high line. South Melbourne keep a high line. He's already shown a couple of opportunities to, or the willingness to get in behind.
There he is again, now with Andy Brennan. Now here's both. Brennan dispossessed, and both is fouled. So a set piece now, and both is causing a few little problems.
Yeah, he's getting involved, isn't he? Causing a few little problems for South Melbourne. See here, he looks up and just a little shove as he's looking to play the ball. Copped a knock on the near side earlier on the top of the head. He'll be feeling the bumps and bruises tomorrow. Won't be so bad if they can get a win.
He's got 11 goals in 19 appearances this season. Kobe Kemp has been firing in the goals as well. Walter, number 17 at the right wing-back role. He's got 7. 16 for Kobe Kemp, the number 8 from midfielders. That's good play again from both. Dispossessed by Inglese, who looks for the safety of the touchline.
And again, it's both causing problems, stealing the ball there.
Gorry with the throw for Walter. Lampard doing the defending. It's a good ball into Morton. Little flick, and what a chance for both. He claims it took a deflection. Referee agrees. Corner, and South Hobart with their first chance of the evening.
Well, it was wonderful hold-up play from Morton, wasn't it, at the near post? Used his frame well, got the ball under control, and the underlapping run started out wide. But just watch Morton at the near post, gets his body as they get the cross in, looks there, just holds it up.
In it comes. The chance! What a goal! Kobe Kemp with a spectacular bicycle kick. And the magic of the cup is alive and well in Tasmania. Well, the crowd could scarcely believe it. What a way to open the scoring. And if ever they were going to make it through, surely it's on the back of something special like that.
Well, what a finish that is. 11 years, we said, they've been waiting to get their retribution, and it was a goal similar from Reid, an overhead, but look at that. Adjusts his feet, gets up well, and everybody can just watch. It is a fantastic finish. Kemp soaring through the air. What a way to put your team in front. That is a fantastic finish of the highest quality.
A 17th goal of the season. Well, we said he was a key player. The word out of the South Hobart camp was that it's more in getting the ball moving in transitions, defensively and offensively.
Well, he transitioned there, didn't he, from the ground to the air.
And what a moment to get this crowd right behind you. I mentioned they're an ambitious club. Here's Morton now. Flicks it through. Morton gets it back again. Just wouldn't sit for him up against Iwakami. And now Brennan. Towards Bernardo. Claims for a handball. Referee's assistant Claire Green on that far side. Just giving a throw South Melbourne's way. Brennan still asking the question of the referee. Kemp beaten in the air by Leach. There's Brennan again, both. Just a little nudge in the back and a little too much from Jake Marshall.
Well, their tails are up, aren't they? So they should be.
Well, you believe that anything is possible when you can do something like that. They have scored plenty of goals. Confidence is high. We heard that. They're undefeated. This is their biggest test, and we've seen so far that they haven't had it all their own way. But confidence is a wonderful thing. Here's Leach. And will that knock South Melbourne's confidence about? Lampard, the cross is a good one. Kemp again, and Morton gets it clear. Here's the captain, Marshall. Nicola. Max Nicola, who's scored 4 goals in his last 7 appearances for South Melbourne. So he's in good form. Here he is with the long throw. The header away and the clearance completed well by Walter. Only as far as Pope. Iwakami with Lampard. Nicola again. He looks up and crosses. O'Connell comes and claims.
Just a little bit too much air on that one. O'Connell saw the flight early. Came and claimed the ball. They've had a couple of nervy moments clearing South Hobart just as the ball drops around the edge of the box. There's been a couple of half opportunities for South Melbourne, but they've scrambled well.
Leach with Nicola again. Iwakami. Inglese, and now his captain, Marshall. It's good play from Brennan. He'll be wanting to put on a show in front of his former fans. Pope. The cross is a good one for Brennan. And it is the former South Hobart man who equalises for South Melbourne. 32 minutes on the clock, and we're all square at 1-1. And it may not have been a bicycle kick, but it was a pretty nice goal as well.
Well, it was definitely a nice run. South Hobart players claiming offside on that far side, but Brennan didn't wait. He was nothing to flash as we have a look here. As the ball goes wide, you can see straight away the Hobart players get the hands up. You can't see the full side of the pitch, but look at that run into the box. It's put into such a dangerous area, and on the volley, Brennan brings it back to 1-1 after getting themselves in front, looking like the tails are up. They're suddenly brought back down to earth.
Jack Pope is something of a crowd favourite. He was involved there. It was a good cross, and it was actually Andy Brennan who started that move as well. And then charged forward. An inspired run. It's going to be another long throw from Nicola. In it comes towards the 6-yard box. The header from Kemp, O'Connell's punch. Plenty of white shirts for South Melbourne there. One of them is Andy Brennan again. Blocked by Kutubo. South Hobart's Japanese central defender. Musashi Kokubo.
Well, they're definitely a weapon, these throw-ins, aren't they? Real distance.
Here it comes, and again, bouncing around. It's been a real source of danger for South Melbourne so far. Inglese's header. Iwakami gives chase. Austin Yost earning the free kick on that far side. Little misunderstanding there between Morton and Berezanski. Yost closing down Painter Andrews. 10 minutes to go in the first half, and it's been an absolutely entertaining first 35 minutes here at KGV Park, King George V Park. It's a real sporting complex here. Well played, Kobe Kemp. Morton looking looking for the option.
It's just a little scrappy there from both teams, wasn't it? Morton with a loose pass. South Melbourne got it back. A lot of pressure on the ball from both teams in that middle of the park area.
And there's Max Clark. Down with the South Hobart bench. South Melbourne bench is about 60 metres away up the other end of the pitch. There shouldn't be any excuse really for having any trouble between the two benches.
Maybe that's a request of the fourth official.
I was just going to say, the fourth official's never had it so good. But that's cleared, but only as far as Mikola. Lampard's ball in towards the back post. The initial header from Kokubo, but they've managed to get it clear to Walter. He turns Inglese inside. Oh, look at the space for both. Oh, and the first touch is heavy. He's gone around Javi Lopez just before losing his footing, but that was a gilt-edged opportunity for South Hobart to retake the lead there.
Well, it just opened up, didn't it? It looked like he had all the time and space in the world to have a touch and pick his spot, but it was a heavy touch. Lopez, as we saw earlier, coming out quickly. And once the touch was heavy, it was all it took for it to be over. A great chance for South Hobart to re-establish the lead.
Now, Kemp is dispossessed by Leach. Pope involved again with Brennan. This time South Melbourne can't make it stick. It'll be a throw for Gorry. Nicola with the initial header. Gorry with the up and under. South Melbourne have had to show plenty of character this season to come back from the start to the campaign they had. They actually won their first two matches before going on that horror run of 12 without victory. That's just beaten Nahuel Bonara out of play. But they also showed in overcoming another of the big clubs, Avondale, in NPL Victoria in the semi-final of the Doherty Cup, 3-1 in an excellent performance to set up a dream final against Heidelberg. That to be played on the 9th of August. They've lost just once of their last 8 in the league. South Melbourne, they do come here despite their lowly league position. They're still 6 points outside of finals football. They can yet make it, but they have to continue on their winning ways. But they are a side that are playing with some confidence these days. Here's Walter.
Well, I think it's more a case now, isn't it, of looking up rather than looking down on the table.
Here's Morton. Again, not afraid to shoot. He had Yost inside him in the middle, trying to catch out Javi Lopez.
He's got himself into some good positions, hasn't he? Just hasn't quite found the radar tonight.
Last season's NPL Tasmania Player of the Year.
And the year before.
He's been a regular performer. Here's Inglese with Marshall, his captain. Now, Painter Andrews, Iwakami. Mikola. Little touch inside, you can hear the cry of time for Lampard, whose ball was not good, but neither is the pass. That's a lovely touch from Bonata. And the mistake at this level prove very costly. Noel Bonada. They have the choreography. I guess when their flight was cancelled this morning, they had plenty of time to work on that one at Tullamarine Airport. Good to see the number 24, Noel Bonada, has South Melbourne in front.
Well, the early mistake was the South Hobart midfield dropping. When they finally won the ball back, it's just an awfully underhit back pass. Bonada was alert to it. Nips in front, nice little touch inside, and then clinical finish. And it's heartbreaking for South Hobart. They were doing so well, find themselves down 2-1. And there it is. The hours spent in the airport waiting for the flight, as you said, Robbie. And that's all it can take. One mistake, you get punished.
Well, if you're not going to say it, Macca, I'm going to have to. I don't get the reference, but I'm sure all our younger viewers know what celebration is.
It's not the kid on the boat, is it?
to.
It's not the kid on the boat. I don't know.
It'll be one for Zappers to chase up.
Oh, he'll know. He's up with the current affairs, Zappers. He's very young and hip.
3 minutes to go in the first half, and after taking the lead with one of the goals of Australia Cup history through Kobe Kemp and a superbly executed bicycle kick from a corner, South Melbourne have come from behind with two very well taken goals of their own, one from their former South Hobart man and Tasmanian Andy Brennan, the second from their Aussie Argentine, Noel Bonada. That was a nice first touch there from Havainen, who we haven't seen too much of. As Gorry and Lampard, Mikola in fact, exchanging shoulder charges.
Well, it's been a hotly contested first half, Robbie. Both teams with their chances. Been a tough battle through midfield as well. A little disappointing, I guess, with just an error of that magnitude to give the ball away in your own box, resulting in the second goal for South Melbourne.
Now, another chance. Oh. And that's a fantastic piece of defending from Gorry to deny Bonada. 3-1 would have been a bit tough on South Hobart.
I think it would have, but Gorry, who's been very much involved in the play, came to the rescue with the block. South Hobart players, I think, asking why wasn't it flagged for the ball going out. They seem to stop for a little. The age-old rule to play to the whistle.
South Melbourne with another corner for Mikola. Driven in back post. O'Connell could have perhaps caught. In the end, it's Morton who can't keep it in play. Both has had that great chance at 2-1 as well, or at 1-1 rather, to make it 2-1. Where he just overhit his touch, and now South Melbourne, who have caused problems from these long throws so far in the first half, this time go short. Lampard, Mikola gets it back. Oh, that's hit the hand. I think it was just at the moment the referee looked away, looked into the middle. I'm not sure he saw it. And that is a big let-off for Walter. Corner to follow.
Well, I think both of our reactions straight away was we've seen them given. The arms looked away from the body. Maybe they got away with one there.
Well, there's no VAR at this stage in the Australia Cup at the round of 32 as it's taken short. Lampard back outside, time to measure across, only finds red and blue near the penalty spot. Pope. Now 1 minute of additional time at the end of the first half is almost up. Iwakami, his cross cleared by Lancaster. Mikola again. He's had a good first half, Mikola, as well. He's been lively. Iwakami pushed off the ball, but there's no time for one last South Melbourne attack. The half-time whistle probably coming just in time for South Hobart because they were on the ropes in the final minutes. Appeals for a penalty as well in the final seconds just before the break, but we have had some absolutely spectacular goals. Kobe Kemp giving South Hobart the lead before Andy Brennan, and then Nawel Bonara firing South Melbourne in front at half-time. In Glenorchy, Hobart, it's South Hobart 1, South Melbourne 2.
What are you doing?
We're planking.
It's because of our internet providers.
We're stuck in 2011.
Same slow internet speeds.
And high prices.
It's like a nightmare.
Enough planking. Superloop is a network purpose-built for the super-fast future of the internet. You are free.
Don't take it lying down, Australia. Refresh your internet.
You are free.
Yeah, thank you, Garby. I'm in front of the South Hobart supporters. Most of these boys play with the junior team, and you can hear they're making plenty of noise. South Hobart are kicking to this end of the stadium in the second half, so all is not lost. They are still in this game. South Melbourne came over the top towards the end of that first half, but they fully believe that South Hobart still have plenty to play for. They are inspired by that Kobe Kemp bicycle kick at the other end of the ground. So still well and truly alive here in South Hobart, a club that's got over 500 juniors playing for it. Most of them are here tonight, and they'll be riding them home in the second half.
Welcome back to KGV Park in Glenorchy, Hobart in Tasmania for the second half of this round of 32 clash between the home side, NPL Tasmania League leaders, South Hobart, and NPL Victoria powerhouse, South Melbourne Football Club. It's been a very entertaining first half of football. A nice homecoming for Andy Brennan, who equalised for South Melbourne against his former club. And the home fans have also had one of the goals of the tournament to celebrate as well through Kobe Kemp's absolutely breathtaking bicycle kick, which gave the home side the lead. It wouldn't officially be a cup set, of course, despite the feeling that South Melbourne certainly start favourites in this one, Daniel McBreen, but history tells us South Hobart have generally been involved in absolute thrillers at this stage of the competition. We could be in for another one this evening.
Well, particularly early on in the competition. A couple of penalty shootouts that didn't go their way. They'll be hoping they can snatch a couple of goals this half and not have to go the extra minutes and do it in the 90 minutes. But they've got some work to do. It was a good first half performance. They had their opportunities. And it was a simple error.
They're onto the front foot here. Berezanski dispossessed. Strong into that challenge was Havainen, the number 19, but that will run out for a goal kick in South Melbourne's favour.
And they will have the wind behind their back, South Hobart. Running right to left on your screen.
Crowd already starting to try and get involved and get on top. Of their guests this evening. Yost is fouled. Free kick for Gorry. Floats it towards the edge of the area. And it lands towards Yost. I thought for a moment it was Kobe Kemp who was lining up another worldie. And why not? When you're hot, you're hot. Iwakami, that's a dangerous pass. Yost can't control though. Painter Andrews with the help of Iwakami gets it forward towards Brennan. Big strong winger Andy Brennan getting down that right hand side, the cross, and it's well cleared in the end by Musashi Kokubo. Joined 2 seasons ago from NWS Spirit rather, in New South Wales. Good shepherding. Oh, and the ball almost fell to Yost again, who's been involved in just about everything in the first 3 minutes of this second half.
He's making a nuisance of himself, isn't he? It's a good play down the right, shepherding the ball. And he almost nipped in.
There'll be another one for Gorry to take with that right boot, only as far as Mikola at the near post. The push from Morton. Back in it comes. Havainen, Kemp. And another corner. No. Goal kick this time. Says referee's assistant on that far side.
Well, neither team seemed to know what that was going to be given.
So everyone appealed.
As is their
As you do. can see the special banners all around the ground for South Hobart. They've invested in this event. They want to make the most of it. The cross in, back post arriving. Oh, was there a high boot there?
I think it's an indirect free kick, is it?
Oh, I haven't seen that for a while. The referee has called for attention for Mikola, and I think it was, well, it certainly looked like it was an indirect free kick for dangerous play in the penalty box.
That's what it looked like. Mikola just snuck in. Let's have another look. Plenty of build up as it comes down this right hand side. It's a South Melbourne players committed into the attacking position. It's a decent enough ball, but out of nowhere, Mikola just nips in front. Cops a boot to the face.
Well, it would have been a harsh penalty. I think it depends who gets there first. Did Gorry get any of the ball as he looked to hook it away? No, indirect free kick inside the penalty box it is. It's going to be a bit like watching football back in the 70s and 80s when you used to see the indirect free kicks all the time on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Well, this wall surely is going to be
just about on the goal line.
Yeah, on the line. They get every player back. Well, they're being very optimistic, South Hobart, with their line.
Now they go back. They're about in line with the penalty spot, so that's 12 yards. So the referee does have everyone back. Andy Brennan is there. So is Iwakami.
You can see
both is very close.
Saying, well, if the penalty spot's there and we're in line with it, shouldn't they be further back? Now we see also Pope, who seems to be about 7 yards from the ball.
Now Brennan still asking the question. Who's it going to be? Iwakami with the touch. Brennan! Can't keep it down over the crossbar. They're a lot more difficult than they look, those indirect free kicks, it must be said.
Yeah. And sometimes players break the line. It's a very difficult one for the referees as well. High stakes moments.
I always thought you just blasted at the wall and try and get a deflection in. That would be playing the percentages. Vainan trying to muscle his way past Pope. Here's Brennan again. The cross, claimed by O'Connell. Was rested on the weekend, Nick O'Connell, for Kieran Brown to have the game in goal. He's on the bench this evening. A couple of young academy products as well. Vainan, swing and a miss. Here's Yost. Vainan again, who does get forward down that left-hand side. I mentioned the advertising around and the expense the home club has gone to. They have been very well supported by the Tasmanian government through Events Tasmania to make all of this happen this evening as well, and hoping that it's a big shot in the arm for the club, who say that they've ticked all the boxes to be a championship side except one, and that is the financial guarantee that they have to put forward on the table. There's a local election coming up. They're hoping the Tasmanian government will get behind them. Football Tasmania as well, who are eyeing off their own project.
Well, they seem to get behind some of the other codes, don't they? So maybe it's time for football to get their fair share.
In it comes. Defensive header. O'Connell comes and punches. Back in now. Who has that come off last? I think it's a goal kick. It is indeed. Let's head back down to Michael Zapponi, who's braving the cold down there. Zappers.
Yeah, a big conversation at half-time amongst the South Melbourne coaching staff and the referees. They were adamant that handball just before half-time was missed by the referees. They were furious about that because that would have made a huge difference in this game. As it stands, this tie is well and truly alive with South Hobart 2-1 down. They still believe they've got a chance. So I mentioned the South Hobart fans behind the goal in my half-time cross. Down the other end of the stadium, it should be noted that South Melbourne fans have travelled here in very good numbers, about 100 of them making plenty of noise, encouraging their side as well. So a great atmosphere at both ends of the stadium.
Thank you, Zappers. Great to see the fans getting behind the Australia Cup. It really is the unifying competition for football around the country. A chance to put the state clubs on the national stage. And of course, the only professional sporting competition in the country that is truly national and invites amateur clubs to the party as well. And if that was something, Macca, that deserved a little bit of government support and celebration,
well, exactly.
That is most certainly it.
Over 700 clubs from right around Australia.
It's actually more clubs than take part in the English FA Cup
at
the start of each season as well. It really is a fantastic tournament. It's many more clubs than play in the Coppa del Rey or the Coppa Italia, or I think it's only really the French Cup, which is larger. That has over 7,000 clubs take part in that. You
take about 5 years to get through the round.
Those initial games. Well, to tell you the level I played in the French Cup, our game started in June for the year later. Here we go, Brennan down the right. His cross claimed. But that's the beauty of those competitions, and this competition as well. The fact that it's a chance for everyone. David versus Goliath. The chance for Tasmanian clubs to measure themselves against the big MPL sides. Victoria and New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, Queensland, of course.
Well, it's not only the clubs as well, Robbie, as it's the players. We've seen how many countless players now we've seen over the last 10, 11 years.
Here's Brennan, he's one of them. Arriving, nudge in the back, free kick.
Players like Brennan who have gone on or have been seen by maybe the bigger clubs, the bigger leagues. Well, okay, there's your platform. They get moves from it, further their careers, opens up doors for opportunities. And also creates great memories and kids around this atmosphere. We saw beautiful scenes last night in the change rooms after, the kids joining in the songs. I'll be remembering that from years to come.
Here's Brennan. The youngsters will look up to him as well. And not just on the football pitch for his footballing heroics as well. As here's Nick Morton on the charge, looking to get the better of Inglese. He has done. Now both is there. Is this the opportunity? Just wide. I thought it was in for a moment. What a chance. Morton and both, causing plenty of headaches for South Melbourne, and so close to an equaliser.
Well, it was a great run from Morton, wasn't it? He looked at probably one or two occasions he'd lost control of the ball, but managed to get it back inside. It was both who arrived late on the scene with the swivelling turn and strike. Has really woken up the crowd. Well, you have to say they've had their opportunities. Pope now with two really good ones. One in the first half, where he was in acres of space. There again, albeit under pressure that time under Lopez, who was right behind him.
Iwakami forward. Lancaster strong in the challenge. Had to be as well to get the better of Bonada. Yost's not on. One for Morton to chase, and Javi Lopez dragging the ball back inside the penalty box to pick it up. Iwakami does look a handy player, but he's been caught in possession a couple of times and given it away in dangerous areas at the back for South Melbourne. It's only his third match with the club. They've managed to keep that in, have they? Referee says corner. So it's going to be another set-piece opportunity for South Melbourne here. They take it quickly as well. Oh, and a little bit too quickly. Sometimes the mind goes faster than the legs. Half an hour to play. South Hobart. The dream is still alive. Against a more fancied opposition, South Melbourne. The former four-time NSL champions. Javi Lopez claims. Iwakami again. That's a clever little 1-2. From Leach. And a foul. He's scythed down in the middle of the park. Staying down as well. A little bit of concern for Yuzo Iwakami, who's yet to play a full 90 minutes for South Melbourne. There's the foul by Berezanski. Just left the foot in. It's one of a number of Japanese players playing in the NPL in Australia. It's a curious one because we always thought the A-League clubs should dip into Asian football, and we can see the NPL has a host of Japanese players. Now, changes coming. The first substitution of the match, and it's Alex Walter who's coming off. And it's the youngster Harrison Oates, just 20 years of age, who comes in. He's got 5 goals this season after coming up through the ranks. He's played about half his matches for the senior team, half in the under-23 NPL. And he's got his chance now against South Melbourne. Taylor Andrews with the ball in. The header from Leach. Couldn't get it on target. Hobart looking to play their way out. They're inviting the press. And you can hear those South Melbourne fans there cheering on Noel Bonada. Mikola runs into Gorry. And Oates, the new man, number 14, who's gone straight into that position on the right flank, by the looks of things, that was Walters for the first hour of this contest. South Melbourne heading to the bench as well. And the change, I think it's going to be an enforced one, with Yuzo Iwakami still feeling the effects of that knock. So he's replaced by Cooper Halfpenny, who got a goal in the 3-3 draw against Dandenong City earlier this season. And another who's played plenty in the under-23s. already this season. Referee saying there's something he didn't like from Andy Brennan.
Just a little pullback there, wasn't it?
Just before he probably earned a foul of his own, but referee going in chronological order. Ball to the back post. And the header, in the end, forcing Javi Lopez into the save.
It was Kemp again, got on the end of it. I don't really know if he thought that ball was going to get to him. Just seemed to react just a little late, couldn't get the power or direction. It was a decent ball in.
They might have another chance here with Morton again. Overlapping run from Yost. Blocked by Painter Andrews. Corner for the home side.
Well, he's been busy in the second half, Yost. On his left-hand side, he's posed a couple of questions to South Melbourne.
Adam Gorry, the 30-year-old, rejoined South Hobart last season. In it comes, near post. Brennan with the header away. Following up, Berezanski. That's a good ball. Hervanen. The cross in, just too high for Lancaster. Yost again, Morton lurking. And now Brennan. Looking up the line, it's one for Bernardo to chase, but it was more than anything just a chance for South Melbourne to try and clear their lines. Good couple of minutes for South Hobart, whose nickname, I think we heard Andy Harper and Broski talking about it, the nickname for both these clubs, or one of the nicknames, is just South, of course, for both.
Which I've said on many occasions and had to elaborate.
The chant is often to be heard at Darcy Street, the regular home, the traditional home of South Hobart, of Come On South, which is, of course, exactly what you'd hear at Lakeside. Pope with Leach. Brennan can't get there. Andy Brennan, a role model for Tasmanian footballers for what he has achieved on the pitch, also a role model for many Australian athletes, including one Josh Cavallo, because in 2019, when he was no longer playing A-League but playing NPL, Andy Brennan came out as the first Australian footballer to reveal his homosexuality. He said it was a great relief, and it's been really well received everywhere he's gone. He's an advocate now for that, and a very courageous South Melbourne winger wearing the number 7.
So it should be very well received.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully we can get to the day where it's just not even a big deal.
Here he is again on the score sheet this evening with a fantastic goal, and he's been really lively. Foul on Kokubo. And it's going to be a yellow card for Brennan. A little too physical on that occasion. The foul on Musashi Kokubo, who I mentioned signed from NWS Spirit a couple of years ago. He's actually a chef at Bear With Me Cafe in Hobart. Bear With Me Cafe are one of the sponsors of South Hobart. No doubt that there was a foul, and perhaps the yellow card just for his collection of fouls as much as anything this evening, Andy Brennan. Oates turns straight into trouble in the form of Lampard. Here he is again, and again it's Lampard that gets the better of the youngster. South Melbourne preparing a couple more changes. We're going to see them now. It's going to be Andy Brennan who comes off now after that yellow card. And another youngster coming on, Andre Skapulas. Andy Brennan down receiving a little bit of treatment. The shin pads are off, so it's been a successful return to Hobart and South Hobart for Andy Brennan so far. For the moment, it's his goal that separates the two sides as Skapulas enters the fray. Came off the bench on the weekend against Altona Magic in that 2-0 victory. Goals from Bonada and Pope for the 10 men of South Melbourne, which continue their climb up the NPL Victoria standings. Mikola, is there a hand there? Referee says all shoulder. The challenge from Oates puts it out of play. An attacking throw for South Melbourne and one for Lampard to take. Was taking the long throws from that side in the first half. Now it's Painter Andrews has come all the way across. The glancing header. It might yet fall for Mikola at the back post. The follow-up. And O'Connell not taking any chances. Tips it over the bar.
Well, it was almost like slow motion, wasn't it, as the ball dropped for Mikola. South Hobart do just enough to keep them at bay.
We've had 10 shots apiece in the match so far. That's number 11. Well, it's probably 11, 12 and 13 in the end. Not a goal-mouth scramble for South Melbourne. Back out again, driven in. And who's that come off last? South Melbourne wanted another corner. Goal kick given. 3 on target of those 13. It was 3 shots in that effort for South Melbourne. 3 on target, just 2 on target for South Hobart, who make some changes of their own again now. Ollie White is coming on. He is a very exciting youngster. Actually trialled with Sydney FC earlier this season. And Rex Maddock, he's just 17. He was on trial at Western United earlier this campaign as well. So a couple of the young guns onto the field now for South Hobart. 17 of the 25 of their first team squad this season, Macca, all came through the academy.
Yeah, great stuff. And that's what you want to see. Youth development system working. Bringing them through, getting them first team minutes, bringing them on the big stage.
Good effort, great save. The follow-up from Leach, blocked again. South Hobart living dangerously at the moment. And those balls in that just aren't being cleared at the moment are ending in real panic stations. They're inviting trouble. South Melbourne are not far away from getting that crucial 2-goal cushion.
It's been a little while since South Hobart have been down the other end, isn't it? finding it a little bit more difficult to find the space to get forward. There's been some desperate defending at their own end.
Here comes South Melbourne again. Lampard, his cross. Good defensive header. Back in, little touch. Pope shoots from a tight angle.
It's going to take something spectacular from that angle.
It was Mikola.
Happy with the corner.
Oh, we've seen a bit of spectacular this evening.
Well, we have, haven't we? Why not have some more?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're entitled to be a little bit greedy. We've got 15 minutes to go. Bring it on. For many of these players, you talk about a shop window for players. For other players, this will be a lifelong memory of their football career.
Yeah, of course.
To play against a former NSL champion, to play in the final rounds of the Cup. Certainly Kobe Kemp won't be forgetting this night in a long time.
I think the highlight reel will get watched a fair bit in his household over the coming weeks.
Andrews coming across to take the throw with the time for a little high five for a couple of kids in the crowd as well. Glancing header from Inglese. Over and onto the roof of the net and behind. Well, South Melbourne have taken control of this one. It's been a long time since we've been up the other end of the field.
Just finding it a little bit more difficult to get forward. Seeing less of Pope. Excuse me, less of both, sorry.
Here's Leach. Plenty of energy in midfield, but can't find Lampard. We haven't seen much of Nick Morton in the last few minutes as well.
It's quiet going forward, hasn't it? And go back to that chance again from both that was created by Morton, and I think that's the last real opportunity they've had down that end. It's going back a few minutes now.
Kemp wants the throw and he gets it. Let's head back down quickly to Zappers on the sideline. Zappers.
Yeah, big night for the club and big night for their coach, Max Clark, who just returned to the club this season as the senior coach. He was the under-23 coach at Western United and also a youth coach at Melbourne City. So this is a homecoming for him. We know how successful they've been this season in the NPL competition, but this is his biggest night yet as the senior coach. He's just made a couple of changes. He'll be wanting them to make an impact in these next 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that arrival of Max Clark as well was a big watershed moment for South Hobart, the end of an era with Ken Morton leaving the club. Who, Mackie, you've just been reminded he coached your dad way back in the day.
Yeah, back for Wollongong City back in the day. A friend of my dad's messaged me to say that, yeah, he's a great bloke and a good coach as well. It's a small
back
world.
In 1980, 81, is that right? 81, 82?
81, 82 for Wollongong City. So the football world, it's very small, isn't it?
It is at the rarefied air of the McBreens and Mortons of the world. Always that is a solid collision between those two. But we heard actually Max Clark chatting to Zappers before the game saying that there is pressure on the side. They actually went around. It's known that they're an ambitious side, that they're trying to get on the national stage, that they want to be in the championship. They want to play eventually A-League football. They want to be the club that unifies Tasmanian football and takes it to the national stage. They've made no bones about that. They haven't hidden it. They're still trying to get there, but they've used that to bring in a lot of new faces as well. And that's ruffled a few feathers, as you can imagine. They've taken a few players from other clubs. They're doing very well this season, but they really have to, because they've gone and picked the eyes out of a few of the other clubs down in Tasmania with that ambition.
Yeah.
And for the moment, it's paying off.
Well,
we'll see how they go in the championship.
Yeah, exactly. And if they do get on that national stage, they can keep the name South. They
Exactly.
can't get any further south in Australia, can you? They put up a good performance tonight. It hasn't been, obviously, South Melbourne's greatest season so far, but as we said, they've started to find a bit of form, and they're not finding it easy going out there.
Now, the danger is that Kemp, you can just see there, the substitute preparing to come on. And is that the end of the night for Kobe Kemp? It would be a disappointing way to go out with injury, but that was a very heavy contact. You can see he's feeling his mouth. Is there a concussion test that's going on? And I wonder if that's a concussion substitution, then South Melbourne will get another as well. The substitution is being prepared, and it looks like it's Alfred Hess who's coming on. It is. So a big round of applause for the outgoing Kobe Kemp. A round of applause as well for Alfred Hess, who, when we turn back the clock, Macca, Alfred Hess was actually player coach last season at Keyborough before rejoining South Hobart. He was on the score sheet in 2015 in the Cup round of 32 penalty shootout defeat to Sydney United. So he's been around, he's been in the football scene in Tasmania. He's back.
Oh, touch.
Yeah, brilliant touch. That's the 17-year-old Maddock, trying to make his way through. One of those substitutions that Zappers was saying Max Clark is hoping to make an impact. The early ball. And again, it's Maddock who's getting on the ball. And that's an important thing for a 17-year-old in this sort of environment. Not be afraid of getting involved.
Well, they've got 10 minutes, haven't they, South Hobart, now to try and find something. Been a little bereft of ideas this past 10 or 15 minutes. They need someone to get on the ball and start pulling the strings, moving them forward.
Lampard's attempted clearance only ricocheted off himself and out of play. It's up the line for Patrick Ayul both. Now, can they play a bit of football up this end of the field? That's what they need to do. South Hobart. Charged down by Morton, who gives chase. Not easy on these artificial surfaces. You think the ball's not travelling very fast, but it just never slows down on artificial grass.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience, Robbie. Just
Well,
can't ever catch that ball.
Exactly, it's even crueler when you're playing in the over 45s. There's Berezanski for both. Maddock ahead of him with their hands there from Inglese. No, says the referee. Eli Wright trying to get involved as well. There's a nasty little challenge, which may not go unpunished. Eli Wright with that challenge. Referee coming across, and I think they've found the culprit. One last chance.
Oh, I think he was lucky there. It was a very late challenge. I thought it was a clear yellow card.
Six minutes to go. Leach back with Painter Andrews. Both. That's going to be a South Melbourne throw. 2 months ago, South Melbourne season looked like it was quite possibly going to be the worst in club history. Now they are on the cusp of qualification for the last 16 of the Australia Cup. In a year in which they will take part in the Australian Championship for the first time. This Champions League style format of the Australian second tier. Quite possible, or highly likely at this stage, that South Hobart will be there as well as NPL Tasmania champions. But perhaps, as Wright heads back, Kokubo does that very nicely. Oh, and then turns into trouble. Can't afford to do that with Bonata around.
4.5 minutes to go. They really need the ball down the other end.
And it's Morton that goes looking for Maddock. South Melbourne have the experience. South Melbourne are a cup team these days as well, more than a league side, even if they were premiers last year under Esteban Quintas. Doherty Cup winners, they're back into the final, semi-finalists of the Australia Cup. Both. Gets down to the byline. The 19-time Tasmanian champions looking for their first state crown since 2017, and also looking for the first time for a place in the last 16 of the Australia Cup. Ball in. Lopez with the punch. The youngster Maddock does well, back with O'Connell. The nod on. And Hess, well, he might have misjudged the situation there, because he had a little half a chance to try and get a foot on that or get the cross in.
Well, I think it was good defending from Inglese. He just dummied as though he was going to clear it, which looked like it was going to be blocked, and then just moved himself out of the way. Calm and under pressure in the final minutes.
Well, 16 shots to 10 in favour of South Melbourne. They've had the last 6 shots in a row. Right, on the charge. Well, he just couldn't get the right side of the number 16, Skapoulos, and now Pope square ball. The whistle's gone though. Oh, and there was a late challenge there as well, and Bonata is not happy. Berezanski was the player that Noel Bonata was taking umbrage with. Lampard's header. Skapoulos forward only as far as Kobuko. That's an underhit ball forward. Skapoulos again. Pope looks up, looks long, trying to catch out O'Connell. And you can hear the cries of anguish from teammates and the South Melbourne bench there, I think, as well. They were hoping for a little bit more time. Wound down off the clock. We're into the last minute of the 90. Kobuko forward. Bonata. Was there a nudge in the back? No, Maddock with the chance to charge forward. He skips past one. Looks for the little nutmeg on Leach. Maddock still going. The 17-year-old. Looks centrally to Booth instead of wide to Morton, but Nick Morton's got it back again. Drives it in. Hard the chance. Oh, he's put it wide. What an opportunity for Harry Oates. The youngster off the bench. And he blazed away and blazed wide.
Well, that was the moment for the young man. In the final minute, that was the opportunity they were waiting for, as we see 8 minutes. Plenty of time.
Well, that's one to give the home crowd a bit of hope.
Well, 8 minutes is a delight to the home side. Young Oates will be hoping they can salvage something in that 8 minutes. Glorious opportunity goes begging.
That's well played. The chance for South Melbourne, back post. Skapoulas is there. Oh, off the foot, off the post, and into the gloves of O'Connell. And an attacking throw for Maddock as well.
Well, it's
he's
not
had
over
an
yet.
impact, Maddock. It's not.
He's full of energy, Maddock. Two great opportunities, one at either end. They won't go away quietly, this South Hobart team.
Cleared away. Eli Wright with the throw. Hess turns and earns the corner. Well, Javi Lopez has dealt with just about everything so far this evening in that South Melbourne goal. Can they be tested here? It was 2-1 at half-time. It's 2-1 as we prepare to enter the 93rd minute. But that could all still change. The ball sat up, waiting. Leach clears, but it'll be another attacking throw. And is the tide just starting to turn? A South Melbourne deciding it's time to batten down the hatches to try and hold on. Pressure coming from South Hobart. Oh, and then a foul. Both furious. Oates as well. In the end, it was pretty well done by the South Melbourne defence to just try and hold on, try and resist. And I'm sure their coach, Sinisar Kahadzic, will be a lot happier if his side keep playing football up the other end of the pitch. Time for another change. Mikola makes way for Andrew Mesuruni to come on. The crowd enjoy that. They've got the throw. 4.5 minutes left in stoppage time. Ayul both. Oh, the challengers are coming in now. Berezanski. Again, the instigator. Max Clark, the coach of South Hobart. Well, this is something new for him. His senior coaching career of South Hobart has never tasted defeat, whether it be pre-season cup, Tasmanian Cup or League.
Well, they haven't yet. There's still 4 minutes.
Exactly. Maddock to run at Painter Andrews. Maddock trying to change the angle. Oh, now that... Oh, there's a nudge in the back. It was going to be a corner, I think. That's what Maddock is asking. Painter Andrews got the last touch. Referee Brenton Copra says free kick.
Maddock has been full of energy, hasn't he? The ball, driving forward, getting the South Melbourne defence on the back foot.
Good turn of pace as well. Nabucco forward. Right. With the big air swing. Maddock is also full of talk to the referee. Up the line from South Melbourne. Back inside. Mesuruni, no way through. Gets it back. The substitute. Ooh. Diving into that challenge. Skapoulas trying to get down to the byline. The cry of no foul from right, but they need the ball. South Hobart. Leach takes over. Now South Hobart have it back. Free kick. Goes the way of the home side. Berezensky leaves it for O'Connell. It's a nervy end to this one. Helped on. Morton over the top. One for both to chase. He gets there first. Ail both. Just couldn't get the better of Painter Andrews. Very well defended in the end.
He just left it behind, didn't he? Looked like he got the better. Got the inside line and just got it caught under his feet.
The header from Skapoulas. Bonata back helping out. Bonata still. Berezensky with the swing at the legs. Referee says he's stopping the clock. As Bonata just threw the ball away to try and use up a little more time. Long it goes. There's a good turn there from Bonata again. It's been a handful. I think we might have another minute added on. Certainly what the referee was indicating. Maddock, the big up and under. Out of play though. There'll be no quick throw from Jake Marshall, the South Melbourne captain. Again, it's up the line for Bonata. Space here, the opportunity. Mesuruni with the effort and a good block from O'Connell. Berezensky with the big up and under. The referee has spotted the free kick for that late challenge on Berezensky. So back it goes. The 8 minutes of stoppage time are up. This is it for South Hobart. O'Connell goes long. Back in from Gorry. Helped on. And very well defended again by Marshall. Is that the gong for the end of the game?
I think that was the ball almost taking out the cameraman.
To whom the bell tolls. That might just be that. Here's Pope. Down the right-hand side. And there goes the final whistle. South Melbourne had to do it tough against a valiant home side of South Hobart, but it's a fourth consecutive exit at the round of 32 for the NPL Tasmanian leaders. A fantastic match of cup football, which gave everything right to the 100th minute. Kemp's spectacular opener cancelled out by the former South Hobart man, Brennan, before Bernarda got the eventual winner just before the half-time break. And despite the huffing and puffing of the home side and the chances in the final seconds, it wasn't to be. South Melbourne march on. South Hobart will be looking for revenge come the championship. We're all finished here in Glenorchy, Tasmania, where it finishes South Hobart 1, South Melbourne 2.
Brennan, a very special night for the club and a special night for you returning to Tasmania.
Yeah, it was a really good night, and South Hobart were terrific. Honestly, it was a really, really tough night, and they put on a show as well, all of Tasmania, so it's beautiful to be back for it.
Was it extra special to score here?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. To be fair, I didn't know if it was offside or not for the first one, so I was a bit confused. But yeah, of course, it's nice to score. But ultimately, to win and progress is the main thing, and I think it was a great night altogether. So yeah.
Huge crowd here. It was quite intimidating. You knew what you had to play against. What about the surface and the conditions here? A little bit different to what you used to back at home. Was that hard?
Yeah, it was a little hard. I think I was getting double cramp in the 50th minute, which was not easy. And we were all up at 5 a.m. to get the plane. The plane was cancelled at 9. Then we had to wait till 12. So I think the boys were feeling a bit tired. And then a little dry, tough, like heavy. But yeah, it was all right.
And a good response too, because you went down early to that cracker goal from Kobe Kemp.
A sun finish, by the way. I think we needed it though, because before that we were a little sluggish, maybe a little lethargic, not moving the ball so well. Then after that we got a bit calmer, put a bit of pressure on them, and yeah, put a few together and scored. So
congratulations, enjoy that. Hope your flight doesn't get cancelled tomorrow, because I'm on it.
Hope not either.
Well, Jake, the celebrations are well and truly underway. What's that feel like?
It's amazing. I mean, to come down here and play such a tough opponent, they haven't lost all season, and to, we started off slow, but to put a performance on that for all the travelling fans, we couldn't ask for anything else.
I was going to say, very impressive contingent of travelling fans, over 100 of them, making plenty of noise tonight. It's been a tough season for South Melbourne, but you seemed like you've turned things around in the last month or so. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, I mean, a bit of personnel change in the club. A few new boys come in, different mentality, different gameplay we're playing. I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not working, we're still running, we're still hungry for the win. So, I mean, and they're our 12th man, so they turn up every game. So, yeah, we appreciate it very much, yeah.
You went on a great run last season as a club, made it all the way to the semi-final. What does this win do for your confidence and what comes next?
Yeah, I mean, we're kicking back we're going well in the league. We're still in the Doherty Cup final, and now we're in the round of 16. So, I mean, it does well for our confidence. We'll see what the next draw brings us, and hopefully we go even further than last year.
So, if you're choosing, is it an A-League club you want or another NPL club for the round of 16?
Personally, I don't know what these boys want, but I want to go back to Queensland and play a Queensland NPL team. So, yeah, got my sights on that.
All right, good luck with that. Enjoy tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Afs. Thank you.